Hi there, everyone. Kim Victoria here. And in today's video, I'm going to put these signatures in the cover. And I thought I'd made a video. So I thought I'd made a video showing some of my process of decorating the pages because I wanted to do some decorating and well, the video didn't work out. So obviously I'm not showing you that. But I was showing some of the decorating I was doing and everything. And I have this tray full of goodies. So you can see I was just using all kinds of fun stamps and I had these great stencils. I got these from Stencil Girl Products. I'm going to put the link for that because there's some really awesome stencils with Stencil Girl products, and then some that I've picked up here and there, and some really great of the clear stamps, things I picked up at thrift stores, all kinds of fun stuff. So I was having a ball with this and my box full of ink and all that fun stuff. Okay. All right, so I didn't get you to show you any of that. But when we go through the flip through, when this is all sewn in, and I've gotten, we're going to do some more embellishing and stuff. But meanwhile, yes, I did grunging and all kinds of fun little things here and there that add to how it looks. All right, but the main focus of today is to sew these signatures into this cover. I really gave it some thought because what I wanted to do is I wanted to allow enough room for some additions to this. And I put the signatures under weights for a few days. And I wanted to be able to add a little pen holder. And what I'm seeing here is because I've made let some of these pages be a little long, I want to allow room for this to be expanded, of course. And so I don't have this recessed quite as much as that first version that I did. Maybe I made this a little shorter, but mostly I think it's because the pages are sticking out more and I'm going to add tabs and fun things. So I wanted to work out how I was going to measure so that I could get these in and have these edges line up, this leading edge and this back edge of this back cover area. I'm not worried about this at all. It's got lots of room to expand and contract. So what I have come up with is I like to draw diagrams, right? I mean, diagrams are so helpful. So what I looked at is I took this piece of tracing paper. And tracing paper is a wonderful tool. I laid the tracing paper here on this. Let me make sure in the camera you can see as much as possible anyway. So what I did is I lined up this edge over here. And this is the front cover. So I lined that up. And I lined this up so that this leading edge would be even with this back cover opening. And that's where I got this first line, which is a little hard to see. So I'll slip this in there. There we go. A little bit easier. Let me come in a little closer. There we go. All right. So I did do this in pencil, then I can erase and all those good things. So I did do that. I lined this up and I made sure that this was also going to work. Oh, yes, it does. Not a problem. And that left me with this dimension, which is 1.5 inches. And I went, all right, what do I want to do with this particular signature sewing in? Now, with 3 signatures, it's super easy. We take our total width and we find the halfway mark. Okay, the center signature is a piece of cake. We want all 3 signatures to have the same amount of room. So what I wound up with is a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, and that gives the center signature a 1/2 inch, and the signatures on each side get a 1/2 inch. So they're equal. I mean, yes, it's a flexible cover, but I would do this if I was doing it in a harder cover too. And I'm got this measured up from the bottom and this measurement down from the top. So this tissue paper was this full top to bottom width. But then I was thinking, okay, I did this on a couple of my simpler journals where I had a reinforcement on the spine with a ribbon, and it wound up being a bookmark. And I went, ooh, how could I do that? I am going to use this bookbinding waxed twine. It's a very nice, heavy strength quality. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun if it came out the top and it went all the way down and we had some kind of bookmark with this. So I've been playing around with that idea and I'm going to go for it. So that's where this 4-hole stitch comes in. So instead of starting in the middle, I've made a plan to do 2 holes at the top and have my crossover happen up here. And then I'm going to have these long tails that come down. Now, if somebody who winds up with this journal doesn't like that, they can always snip off the long tails. I have a plan for that. I doubt if anybody will cut that off. So at any rate, what I have planned for these signatures is a 4-hole stitch. And I've mapped it out. So you go in and you just do that figure 8 kind of thing with the long tail going all the way to the top back in, and then we can tie the knot. And I want to do it on the outside. So now that I've spoken through that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the holes going. And I have my map here. I'm going to clamp it in place. Then I can use this to do the inside of the signatures and then put it all together. Now you've seen other people do 3-hole pamphlet stitch, 5, 6-hole pamphlet stitch, that sort of thing. Let me get set up here and then I will be right back and I'll take you through the first signature and then we'll just move on. Okay? All right, now that I've experienced these 2 signatures, I could see that my idea of having long tails become bookmarks and putting some beads down here, I think it could be really fun. So I'm just going to keep going with that idea. So a 4-hole stitch, a little bit different, but it's working. So I'm really happy with it. These are the long tails. It's working just fine. So why wouldn't it, right? Okay, but now that I've had that experience of putting those 2 in, I only have 1 page that I need to be concerned with, and these are these small paper bags. So when I line this up, I just want to make sure that 2 of the holes is not quite wide enough to be practical to go 2-3 holes. So I'm just going to make sure it gets in 2 holes. And it's sandwiched between other pages, so that should be just fine. All right, so I'm going to make sure this is very, very secure. And I'm lining up my little top and bottom placements. And it's this final cover is a little bit tricky, which I'll show you. Okay, so now I know where I'm double checking here. Okay, so do the holes. And these are rather thick pages. Need a little oomph to get it through. There we go. All right, so I can take that out. Okay, now the first tricky part. Oh, let me get my thread on here. And I need 2 lengths that are going to hang down and stick out. And I need the length for doing the sewing. I'm just giving myself plenty. I mean, might as well, right? And pliers come in handy. All right. So according to my chart, and I'm really glad I made a chart for myself, right? So I want to go in the second hole from the top. And it's really hard to see in the camera, but these little pinholes are so subtle. I was having a little trouble finding them again. But once you find them, the hole's there. It's just tricky to, there we go. Okay. Now I want plenty of tail. So I want to be able to leave that much hanging down. That's for this idea that I have. All right. And in the second hole here. Yeah, I can feel it. All right, take that out. This is the hardest one to find. I bring it up close here. There it is. And I got to go through that one twice, so I want to make sure I can find it. There we go. At this point, it's good to leave everything kind of loose. Now, if I was using embroidery floss, I'd be a little more nervous because I wouldn't want to split the thread, but I haven't been doing any splits. This is a more firm type of thread. Still don't want to split it. Make it next to impossible to finish this off. There we go. Yay. Having a chart helps, definitely. Okay, so I'm making sure I've got my tail. So because I have my tail, I can start tightening things up just a little bit, not all the way. Still a little tricky. Okay. So this is where on the outside, I bypass this one and go into the next one. So then when it comes back in, it's coming back through this hole, and I tie the knot in this one location, which you will see presently. Sometimes I have to go in the other side and reestablish the hole, and then I can see it better. I do a lot of double and triple checking. It's just too easy to get ahead of oneself. All right, last one. Maybe I can go back in the hole of the cover. I'm not sure. I'm going to go through. That's one of the fun things about having this flexible cover is it's much easier to do this going through the signature before going through the cover. All right. There we go. I can feel it. Okay. Very good. Yay. All right. One last check. Yes. I'm going to hold this one tight. Yep. It's very secure. And then I make sure that, of course, the threads are on opposite sides of the long one. We'll tie it off. And then we'll see whether my concept. It's one thing when you're working with a concept, it's you're never quite sure if it's going to be exactly what you're hoping for. So there we have, you know, it's like the other choice. Come on. There we go. All right, the other choice would be just maybe add a couple of beads here that it can be flipped up. So anyway, so I've got that. It's all together. I'm going to hold off before I do anything else with my long tails here. I'm going to go ahead and do some more with the signatures themselves. And then I think I'll come back to that concept. I'll, mull it over and look at it and see what I think of it. But I got plenty of tails here for whichever direction I decide to go. So, but yeah, I used stencils, rubber stamps. This is a stencil, rubber stamp. I inked some edges, finished putting together some pockets. I had these pretty dividers. These are very typical for old-fashioned books to have dividers between paragraphs and things. So I thought those would be fun. A little bit of stencil. So I did the dividers quite a bit. And then this particular stencil wound up being a bit of a theme. This one, I still haven't decided whether I'm going to glue it down or not. And I think what I wind up inserting into the pages is going to determine that. This isn't much of a flip out, but I could attach something to it and make it more interesting. So these are these things that I'm going to be playing with. But I wanted this video to just be about that signature, sewing in the signatures, and a little bit about the embellishment, but didn't quite. So this one is kind of a different sort of pocket. I have a great word stencil from Stencil Girl Products. So yes, I will put that link down below because if you're looking for stencils, that's a wonderful resource. And they also make videos. It's a fun stencil from her product line. So there's a lot of fun stuff. I do have a Michelangelo. I have a, not Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci. I have a couple of those. So I thought that went really well with his drawings. So we'll do all of that. The closure's a piece of cake. I've got that all figured out. So that is where I am. I wanted to kind of just keep this video short. And if I do go with these long tails, by all means, put something in the comments if you think that's a cool idea. Because what I was looking at were like, I had these kind of fun beads and doing something. Stay. There we go. Something like that at the end of the tails. So if you think that's kind of a neat idea, having the tails become bookmarks and just having some beads down at the bottom and having them come all the way through, let me know in the comments. I would love to know your opinion. If you think I should just put something short and sweet up here and not have quite so much length, you know, I've never done this before. So it was just, I did something with ribbon on a couple of the small journals that I did on the 12 by 12 quickies. So let me know. Let me know what you think. Um, and then I'm going to go for it. So next is going to be some of the inserts. And you saw the library card. I have another one that I'm going to make a video of that I was playing last night. And I went, hey, that's kind of fun. So there's going to be an interim video with a couple of the things that I'm going to insert. So I hope that this was interesting and you got something out of this idea for a 4-hole stitch. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. And please join me for my next video. All right. Bye for now.